The program is in touch. I'm Ginny McGehee for our Hall Communication Stations, and we have two guests in the studio. First, the Executive Director of Mobius, Vermont's mentoring partnership, Chad Butt, is with us. And in a short bit, we'll talk to Eliza Kuchuk. She is the Youth Program Coordinator at Essex FriendCHIPS, and we're going to talk about that program and what they do in working with youth and mentoring. Chad, good to have you back.
Thanks for having me again.
4 years you've been at the helm here, and in those 4 years, things changed. Mentoring in Mobius was a Chittenden County-based organization, and it has grown statewide.
Yeah, we've been able to expand our folks we work with and support more mentoring across the state and really support great programs that have been in existence for a long time.
Sometimes you've worked and merged with programs that have been around for many, many years, and others are new, right?
We're starting new programs around the state every year. We give out funding through the Vermont mentoring grants that are funded by DCF through the state, and also two foundations, the Permanent Fund for Vermont's Children and the A.D. Henderson Foundation. We actually just gave out 4 different planning grants this year to start new programs throughout the state.
Very cool. We don't talk about that as much. Can people give money to this?
People can give money to Mobius. If you go to mobiusmentors.org, you can give money to Mobius directly. You also can support mentoring programs in your community. If you're looking for help finding those, we can help you with that. But if you want to give money directly to give out to mentoring programs through our granting process, we also welcome that.
Now, we know there are bazillions of mentoring programs, but ones that you've worked with, roughly numbers, do you know?
There's about 140 mentoring program sites in the state. So Eliza will be coming on talking about Essex FriendCHIPS, and they have a handful of sites, different schools they work with. But there's about 40 agencies in the state that do mentoring that make up those program sites, and collectively they support about 2,300 youth. So there's about 2,300 adult mentor volunteers out there that are working with kids, but there's a great need for more volunteers and more mentors throughout the state.
And when we talk about mentors and the volunteer needs that you have, this is generally a one-on-one, right?
Mm-hmm. So the programs we support are one-on-one, adult to youth, working with youth between the ages of 5 and 22 throughout Vermont. And that's either school-based mentoring, where a mentor is coming in to the school during the school day or before or after and working with the child on the property of the school, or community-based mentoring, where they're actually picking up the kid at the child's house and going out in the community and doing activities throughout their area.
We are going to talk a little bit more about quote-unquote activities. People always are worried about, what am I going to do with this kid? And just having a conversation is a big thing, and that's really what it's all about, connecting, huh?
Yeah, and just having that time, that kid that's just dedicated to them. If you had siblings when you were growing up, just thinking about when you had an adult come that wanted to just hang out with you, and you got to get away from everybody else and have that one adult that's focused on you. And it's an amazing feeling for a kid to have, and you can just be that by being consistent with that child on a weekly basis or every other week, just dedicating an hour or so a week to that child.
When you're talking young people up to 22 years of age, I would guess teenagers and early 20s sometimes get somebody who's thinking about mentoring a little nervous, more so than maybe younger kids.
Yeah, and whatever age you're working with, there's a mentor coordinator that runs the program that's going to help match you with the child that is going to work for you or a young adult. And they're going to support you along the way. So they're going to help you figure out what activities you can do. There's going to be mentors in that program who have been doing it for a lot longer than you that can be there and be a sounding board and be a mentor to you as a mentor, actually.
And you were just telling me before we started this interview, you've had a friend who you've been trying to get on board as a mentor for a while, and finally he's just signed up, and it's been 2 years. And sometimes it takes a little bit of work on getting folks to get on board.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time for some people to figure out that they really want to do it. I think people kick around the idea for a while, and then something comes up and they realize, I can give this a try. And we find that once folks actually take that initial step and make that call, or go to mobiusmentors.org and find the mentoring program in their area, once they start working with a kid, it becomes something that they really look forward to. And they benefit a lot from it as well. I think we often hear mentors say that they get more out of it than the kid gets out of it. And it's an opportunity for them to give back to the community and really make a difference.
We're speaking with Chad Butt, the Executive Director of Mobius. That's Mobius, Vermont's mentoring partnership. And Chad, now that you've been at the helm for 4 years, and you've been a mentor too, what surprised you so far in the 4 years, or what has excited you about this?
It's been a lot of fun just seeing the different programs out there and seeing all the different models within that one-on-one adult to youth. There's so many different ways in which programs work with youth. If it's a literacy-based program, if it's a school-based program that's just playing with kids during recess, whatever it is, that impact is still there. Whatever model that mentoring program takes, the impact is still there. There's so many different models, and there's just great volunteers throughout the state that are really making a difference and really have an impact on the lives of youth.
And as you said, it makes an impact on a person forever.
It does. And that ends up being, especially as the kids get older, it ends up becoming a friendship. My mentee is 24 now, and he just gave me a call the other day, and it sort of flipped over the years from me calling him to him calling me now saying, hey, we haven't hung out in a week. What are we going to do?
Checking in with you.
Yeah.
That's very cool, isn't it? And as we have talked about in the past, Chad, we can all use a mentor at any age, but it is nice to help our younger folks have a little different perspective on things and have another relationship or friendship out there. No matter what their needs might be, we can all benefit. One more thing, folks, it doesn't take a lot to commit to being a mentor. 1 hour, 1 week throughout the year. Is that pretty much?
It ends up being that. And if there's some programs out there that you can do every other week, really ends up being what fits your schedule. We can help you find a mentoring program that works for you. And as I said before, it really ends up being something that you look forward to. I think you all have an hour during the week that you realize, I could have done something else with that. I didn't need to watch that TV show for an hour. Imagine being able to dedicate that time and really make an impact on your community and on an individual. And
there's a lot of great support. We'll talk a little more about that, but we'll let Chad take a moment from the mic and bring in Eliza Kuchuk. Eliza Kuchuk is the Youth Program Coordinator at Essex CHIPS. And welcome, Eliza. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
Youth groups and folks that may have never heard of the youth program Essex CHIPS, it's been around a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've been around a little over 30 years now.
A lot of mentoring programs and work with youth have been going on for many moons.
Our mentoring program specifically has been around for about 5 years, but Essex CHIPS in some form has been in existence for a while.
And what does CHIPS stand for? Would you remind me?
Yeah, it stands for Community Health Initiatives and Programs for Students.
Oh, there you go. And students range in a variety of ages. Is this for a lot of the Essex area schools?
Yeah, we serve all the schools in Essex and Essex Junction, sometimes Westford, in some capacity, whether it is a prevention-based health initiative or one of our other programs. We really try to reach out to all those age groups.
And that's a lot of territory for our friends in Essex and Essex Junction who know. Tell us a little bit more about Essex CHIPS, and as the youth program coordinator, I'm guessing you help with the mentoring program there.
Yeah, I do. So we have a lot going on. We have a lot of prevention-based work, a lot of policy work that happens. We work with a lot of different community groups to talk about the different issues going on. But really what I do as a youth program coordinator is coordinate our direct service programs, including mentoring, an after-school program, and also a summer backpacking program.
That's a lot. And there are a lot of kids who benefit from this program, Essex CHIPS, and have for the 30 years, and all walks of life from Essex, Essex Junction, and some from Westford have participated for these years. So all kinds of kids are there.
Yeah, with our after-school program, it's mostly middle schoolers, and we have a really incredible space. We have a pool table and Xbox, computers, foosball. They really love to just come and hang out and be middle schoolers, and I think it's a really great environment for them. And I think when people think of Essex CHIPS, they often think of that teen center.
Of course, that is the age group, elementary and middle school students you work with in the mentoring end of things. Eliza Kuchuk, who is the youth program coordinator at Essex CHIPS. How long have you been on board, I should ask first?
I have been at Essex CHIPS since last September, so a little over a year now.
And what have you found in that year plus?
I've really loved being in that role. I've worked with kids in some capacity about 6 years, and I think it was just a really incredible place for me to step in and to coordinate these different programs and to just see the impact that we do have on these kids that we serve.
Elementary and middle school kids, they can't be quite totally independent like high school, next level up. But what people remember, if you've been a parent, you did have a kid who was in elementary school and middle school, but sometimes people are like, what do you have in common with kids? Obviously, they're just people too, right?
Yeah, and I think that that's something that comes up in mentoring. They're like, oh, this kid, I introduce a new parent, and they're like, the kid isn't really that interested in me, or maybe they don't really want to talk to me yet. And it's like, okay, well, what would happen if you were meeting someone for the first time and you start to become friends? You're not automatically friends. Kids are like people, so they're not going to automatically open up. Some do, of course. They are just regular people, and it takes them a while. And I think mentoring is a really special relationship that is long-term, and then you see it really grow and the impact that you can make.
A little conversation, a little time, things develop, relationships, just like a mentoring relationship. And at Essex CHIPS, Eliza, you work with Mobius in your mentoring program, the matches, and this happens when at school, after school, or are these programs, the mentoring program, at times that work for the mentors and the mentees?
Our program is school-based, so it does take place during the school day. Occasionally, there will be some of that hour might take place a little bit after school, a little bit before school, but it takes place at school.
And how does that come down in coordinating the matches?
We really try to look for our best possible matches, someone that you would look for, oh yeah, they could be friends. We try to look at shared personalities and interests to try to make sure that they'll have something in common to do when they hang out. I work with the guidance counselors to try to get to know the students, and there is a nomination process for those students. And then on my end, I will interview the mentors. There's also an application process. The school, of course, requires a background check for their own security. And then we really just try to help them find activities to do.
When you do all of this, are you short on mentors? Or always more needs for mentors versus how many kids you got there?
Yeah, there's really always need for more mentors. Teachers are constantly identifying kids that could really benefit from it. So we always have a list, and whenever someone new pops up, we try to see who would be the best fit for that person.
Profiles of kids, maybe some could really use an extra friend out there, which is really what mentoring is all about. I guess all of us could benefit.
Of course.
If people would like to learn more about Essex CHIPS and their programs and mentoring, what should they do, Eliza?
They can go to our website, essexchips.org. We also have a Facebook page, and all of our email addresses are just at essexchips.org. So if you want to contact me personally, it is Eliza, ELIZA, at essexchips.org.
Anything else you might want to add, Eliza?
Just that I think we do really great work in the community, and really just trying to have a positive impact on the kids in Essex and Essex Junction.
Well, I can see that you've helped a lot with that, too, and I appreciate you being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Eliza Kuchuk, she's the Youth Program Coordinator at Essex CHIPS. And we're going to wind things down and bring Chad back to the microphone. I'm very impressed, your cohorts at Mobius. Mobius, Vermont's mentoring partnership, the Executive Director, Chad Butt. A lot of stats point to, well, just amazing stats on how much better kids are through many organizations that do mentoring, right?
Child has a mentor in their life, and that extra caring, consistent adult really can make a huge impact on their life. They're more likely to go on to college. They're more likely to go to school and attend school on a regular basis. And they really just have a better outlook on life. And they really can have that positive influence on them. It makes a huge difference.
Bringing a positive attitude to children and up to 22 years old, young adults. I know you've worked with a lot of schools. I know Spectrum I bring up very often because you know, I know the folks over there, and they do a lot of great work, and Mobius works with them as well. Right?
Yeah, we work with mentoring programs in different agencies throughout the state. So really, if you're looking to get involved wherever you are, go to mobiusmentors.org. Give us a call at 802-658-1888, and we can help you find a mentoring program that will work for you and work for your time schedule.
And not only do they have great folks that will coordinate this match, but they also have a lot of wonderful businesses and organizations that help out and support Mobius and your mentoring partnership.
Yeah, we have a discount card that mentors can use to do discounted activities throughout the state, and there's great businesses out there that offer discounts for mentor matches.
Learn more. Anything else you might want to add, Chad?
I just hope folks will consider getting involved and really making a difference in their community and becoming a mentor.
Now, 2 years isn't bad if it takes you that long, but maybe you should investigate well before that.
Yeah, and talk to someone. If you know anybody that's been a mentor, talk to them about their experience and really think back on your life on who's been a mentor to you. You have the ability to be that impact on other child's life.
And one last thing, Chad, because I've interviewed you guys over a number of years because this is such a great program that all ages are welcome to mentor, right?
Yeah, 18 plus.
And there's always a need for more men, though, right?
There is a need for more male mentors. When we look at the stats, and there's about 2/3 of the mentors out there are women. So there's a need for more men out there because there's a lot of boys out there that are looking for that role model in their life.
18 and up, right?
Yep, definitely.
Hey, learn more. Go to MobiusMentors.org. It's very nice having both of you in our studio. Executive Director of Mobius, Vermont's mentoring partnership, Chad Butt, and again, Eliza Kuchuk, Youth Program Coordinator at Essex CHIPS. I want to thank you all for being here, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm Ginny McGehee, and you're in touch, and you're in touch, and you're